This is such a fun playstyle, man. It looks cool as fuck as well. It is so anti-warrior. I love it. It doesn't feel like warrior, but it is warrior. Fucking stomping my foot really hard. And look at that. Boom. Hey guys, what is going on? KingKongor here with a Smith of Kitava that moves like this. That's pretty cool. This build is insane AoE, insane speed, very good single target, thanks to Ancestral Totem. And the better gear you have, then eventually you can even single target like this. But it's an insanely good build. I've played it a lot yesterday. This, honestly, this build alone made me have so much more fun again in this game with a warrior. I could have never imagined warriors being some of the fastest out there. Let's go over how this all works. This is actually not that expensive to set up. You do just need a lot of strength. It is very important you have the winged spear. And this is a starter belt, basically a wristletless coil, also super good. And you want to have the deepest tower. The rest is all just a bunch. Oh yeah, very important. Trample toe. Trample toes are back. Trample toe it up again. This allows you to clear like crazy. So this is super important. You need to have this. But yeah, so 4 uniques that are good. And then the rest is just a bunch of yellows. And of course, because of Smith, white chest. Preferably with 3 sockets for 30 strength. So yeah. We're going to start with everything. We're starting with the skill gems, as always. And as you can see, there is still a lot of stuff I could potentially add. So the more spirit you have, you could add every single herald, for example. Right now, I've only started playing it yesterday, so this is still very basic. But yeah, lots of emptiness. So, Rake. This is what makes everything happen. You want Rake with Stomping Ground. This does all the damage. The more strength, the more damage. You want to have Heft. You want to have Fire Penetration because you do a lot of fire damage. So the more, the better. Causes the explosions, causes the clear. You want to have Execute because the deepest tower, I think it's called, yeah, the deepest tower. So everything is always in low life. So it's straight up 50% more damage. And Martial Tempo so that you know, do this Rake as fast as possible, and then you can just spam click and you start moving like this. You need to make sure you hear that little stomping ground happen, but you'll get used to it, or you can just have something that does it for you. For me, I have my Razor mouse, so my Razor mouse, I can just hold it down and it will just constantly click, 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 which is really good. And then you have this effect, which is insane. But for people that don't have that, you just need to get used to it. But it is really fucking strong. But I highly recommend getting like something that just does the continuous clicking for you. It's super, super, super fun. Super strong. So for single target, you want to have Rolling Slam on an Ancestral Warrior Totem together with Concentrated Effect, Close Combat, Heavy Swing, and Bloodlust. Resonating Shield. This is mandatory together with Demolisher. You can also use Parry, but I just recommend getting Resonating Shield because you'll have a proper shield with strength. And this is a strength stacker, so yeah. You don't need any movement speed, so you don't have to worry about all that. But yeah, I have Demolisher on it. Herald of Ash, this is also important. Get Cannibalism, obviously. Fire Mastery, Swift Affliction, and Magnified Effect. Herald of Ash is one of the few things that you actually cannot add that much to. I'm also using Overwhelming Presence. It helps with, you know, fire damage. And I have Berserk because we have some Rage. And you get your Rage from a jewel. But more about that later. But that's it already for the gems. So let's straight jump to the gear. So you need to have the Sky Sliver. Sky Sliver works really well together with the stars aligned. More about the talent tree in a bit. You need to have Wristletless Coil just to have that more maximum and lower, like the less minimum damage. So always have as much damage values as possible. Trample Toe, it explodes everything, causes the AoE. and the deepest tower so that everything in your presence is low life. On this, you want to have as much reduced presence, as least reduced presence area of effect as possible. Mine is really bad, but like I said, I'm only just starting. It would be ideal to have an Instrumentus. If you don't have an Instrumentus, get something like this. All attributes, strength, intelligence, or dex, like whatever works for you. Get rings with fire damage on them, with strength, life, rarity, maybe some leech is always useful. So very simple stuff. Just get as much strength as possible. Here as well, get as much life as possible, strength, get some resistances, whatever works for you. I got super basic stuff right now because I didn't have currency to spend. And it already works really well. You should probably see a video in the beginning of the video and like throughout the video with some footage of gameplay that I've done. But yeah, that's for the gear. Offense, really important. You just need to get as much plus melee skills as possible. You don't have to look at any other stat. Just get like +7 or +6 twice. That's it. This is just for weapon swapping and putting these guys down. And then they will do your single target. So yeah, this is for your weapon swap. Super important. For the passive tree, the spec, obviously go for Cold Stoker, Fortune Flame. And you want to go for Tantrum Alloy. The engraving, support straps, you know, strength stacking, so 20% strength is huge. And leather bindings for the life per second is also useful. But you can use whatever you prefer. With Berserk, it's kind of useful to have this so you don't die. So it's pretty tanky, pretty good. You want to go for Relentless. You want to go for all the strength here. If you can get more, get more. This is 15 strength, also very useful. Resolute Technique, really important. More strength stacking over here. As you can see, super important. Titanic, super important, 5% strength. Blood Magic as always, because we don't want to have to deal with mana. We're a warrior, so obviously Giant's Blood. And you want to go for a natural resistance, because, yeah, we're Kitava. The more resist, the better. My resistance are actually kind of low still. You can easily get this to 90%. And you can see my chaos resist is kind of low, but that is also easily fixable once I have better gear. All right, so since we're using the deepest helm or the deepest tower, you want to go for finality, and you really want to go for finishing blows and stars aligned. All this low life stuff gives you so much damage. This could probably also work as a Titan, but then you need better gear to deal with all the resistances. Titan would probably be better, honestly. You'll probably get the same amount of strength. But yeah, like Titan's just crazy. I will eventually try Titan as well, but for now, as long as I don't have the good gear, we're gonna go for this. And glancing blows to allow you to get all that block easily. I will go over the weapon sets in a bit, by the way. So first we're going to look at jewels. You want to get from nothing around Dance with Death. And this allows you to get acceleration, precise point, rolling strike, and focus thrust. Super useful to have. And obviously, don't forget Polymath, 7% increased attributes. This one I'm getting from my... Like, it looks like it's not assigned, but it's actually assigned. Hold on. Like, it looks like it's not assigned, right? But it is assigned. But I have... Where is it? I have... Megalomaniac with Polymath. So it saves me a point. And over here, you also saw that against the darkness, you want to get 3% increased strength. And then put that on these 4 notables. So 3%, 3%, 3%, 3%. And if you can get even more than 3%, like a 4%, for example, you get 4% more strength. So there's a lot of insane things you can do. Okay, so that's for the basics. Then for the weapon swapping, the green is basically totem stuff. Here you can basically do what you feel is best. For now, I went for Ancestral Alacrity. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. We went for Protraction, you know, more skill effect duration. More totem stuff over here. Ancestral Atrophies. Carved Earth. And over here, Watchtowers. And that's it already, I think. And then for the red, that is this stuff. So you want to go for Unbending, Unforgiving, Vigilance, for that block chance. Where else are my reds? Oh yeah, here. Parrying Motion and Lay Siege. And because we have Lay Siege, we also obviously go for Offensive Stance. I have Offensive Stance as an Anoint. A little bit expensive. Well, I mean, to be honest, Anoints are not that expensive anymore with the changes they've made. So yeah, Offensive Stance is something you want to get. So there is that. That is pretty much the build. Short and simple. For endgame items, you can go for stuff such as Astromantis. You want to go for that fire damage shield. And Headhunter would be really good. And there's a lot of things you can do. So just keep an eye on... keep an eye on my YouTube. There will probably be a build update since this is currently in its early stages. I hope you enjoy it. Hope I did not forget anything. And if I did, feel free to ask me on Twitch or on YouTube. I am happy to answer all your questions. All right, guys, that's it. Short and simple. Enjoy. We can finally start having fun as warriors again. Log in.